Hey everybody, this is kind of a tangent from my normal content, but just got a new electric scooter, GoTrax Aries or GX0, whichever model you have. But I use electric scooters. I ride one to work for my normal job every day, and I thought I would get a faster one. This one will be the fastest scooter I'll have ever owned. Typically, I ride one that goes 22 miles an hour, so this one is a significant upgrade for it. And it being the GoTrax Aries, it has dual 500-watt motors. This is the black trim, which the Aries is black. The GX0, I think, is not. And here are the specs on the screen. It's a 66-pound scooter. Dual 500-watt motors, weight limit 264 pounds. It has a 576 watt-hour battery. Now, I thought I would use my cute little Damascus steel knife to unbox this. When I got it, it was honestly a little bit smaller than I thought for the size of the scooter I was expecting. It's honestly, they packed it very well, I'll say that. And it's branded, it's taped up very nicely. When I was considering getting this scooter, I thought, there's the Varla Pegasus. They all have that similar spec. Could have even gone with the Eagle One. That's $1,500. This one was priced at $999. And I got it off Amazon, which I wanted to get off Amazon because they can ship it in 2 days, which was a big win for me. And one thing I did like was the cardboard packaging, which I've gotten the scooters in the past, like Unagi, Highboy, and they've all had that styrofoam packaging that just shreds and breaks and goes everywhere and sticks to absolutely everything. So the cardboard packaging was very nice. And there is a little bit of the plastic, but that's to be expected. Now, taking a look at the scooter, and it's completely covered. They've done a good job of making sure everything is separated and in shipment, not moving around. And you can see the latching mechanism already, which I actually really like. It's a dual safety mechanism. You pull up on it, and it doesn't just immediately fold. So that way, if it accidentally comes loose when you're riding, you won't just lose the handlebars and crash. So that was a big win. All right. And getting it out of the box was actually well, I wouldn't say it was difficult, but it's definitely a big chungus of a scooter, 66 pound. And I've never seen them where they've wrapped up the handlebars and the stem together in a box like that. They always have the handlebars separate. They're not connected completely. So that way they can fold up. Getting this one out, I thought, I'll just rip the cardboard off, but I don't want to risk ripping any cables or anything. So, a note to other packagers and other manufacturers, use more cardboard. I really appreciate not having to clean up all that styrofoam that goes everywhere. And I will say that this is the first scooter I've had that has full suspension. I've had scooters in the past with no suspension, and this one, I was really looking forward to seeing how well this performs and how it takes my weight. At the time of recording this, I weighed 248 pounds, and I do fall under that weight limit, but kind of close to it. So riding it will definitely be an experience. Now, they really were happy on the bubble wrap here. They covered the whole stem, which was kind of unnecessary, I think, but not a problem. More safe than sorry, I guess. And they wrapped the whole scooter in plastic wrap. You know, no problem there. It kept it clean, which with this kind of plastic and the deck material, I got it dirty as soon as I stepped on it, even with clean shoes. So, oh well. Kind of hard to get it out of the plastic. Getting caught on all the brake levers. And it has a nice footrest too. It seems very solid. It's connected to the deck. It's not like a piece of plastic that's just screwed in. It's actually part of the deck, and it's overmolded with plastic and rubber. So that was nice. And the kickstand was another nice one too. It has a little tab that's sticking out, so you don't have to reach your foot underneath the deck to actually flip it out. So that was really nice. And what I liked about the stem for this one compared to some is it's really thick, so it feels very sturdy. It doesn't feel like there's any stem flex when you're riding it, which that's another nice thing for me. Since when I'm turning and leaning, tilting, I do put a bit of strain, not strain necessarily, but force on the stem. So it's nice to feel safe that the scooter's not going to bend or even break. You have that peace of mind. And it has what I could call a grocery bag holder or something, but that's the mechanism to latch the scooter when folded. So that's nice. And then the bag of goodies. You have the rear fender, plastic. It has a brake light that you connect, so that's nice. It's not just a reflector. It's an actual brake light that comes on when you press the brake pedal. That's nice. And then the controller, I believe this is a 42 volt 3 amp charger. So it being a 36 volt scooter, which for this power output, dual 500 watt motors is interesting because a 36 volt system and 1,000 watts of motor power, nominal, interesting. We'll have to see how the acceleration goes. And the manuals, a little bit of a tool bag. You just get the requisite Allen key, and they actually gave you a valve stem extender, so that way you're not putting pressure on the valve stem, which for me, in my experience with tubeless tires, which this one has, if you're putting an inflator on that tiny little valve, it can weaken the valve and it can break it. You can get leaks through the valve stem that way, so that was a nice piece. Now, my gripe with this, the only thing about this valve stem extender is it's hard to actually secure it to the valve, and when you've connected it, it doesn't automatically close. So as soon as you attach the valve stem extender to the valve, it starts letting all the air out of the tire. So you have to have your inflator connected beforehand, which that's my only little gripe about that. Now, to attach the handlebars to the stem, it has 4 hex-headed screws, and the ones for the, what do you call it, the rear fender were Phillips headed, which I thought was weird. They didn't just use hex-headed screws for everything. Okay, well. And another nice thing is they routed the cables through the stem, which it gives them a little bit of protection. However, it's not waterproof. Where the cables go into the stem, there's a little opening, so water can get in. So I don't believe this is an IP6 or even 5 rating. I do believe it is an IPX4 or 5. I would have to check that. There wasn't very much information on GoTrax's website about the scooter other than the specs I just posted on earlier. It has a nice big screen. And it's really hard to actually torque down those. I need to get a new hex because the hex key set that I was using was trying to come apart in my hands. I've had it for so long. I believe I got it at Harbor Freight. but it is a thumb throttle, which is okay. It's not the worst. I do prefer a thumb throttle to the trigger throttle that I've had on the eMove Touring. It provides a bit more granularity. I can just rock my thumb into it. So, and then you have a little horn. Well, not a horn, little bell, little bicycle bell. Which, honestly, for a scooter that goes this fast, you should have something else. Maybe a little horn of some kind, because it's kind of hard when you're coming up on someone for them to hear the little ding bell like that. But the handlebar grips, they're okay. I have my Highboy Ecom 14 seated scooter has the handlebars with the grips where they have a palm rest. So that's a nice little creature comfort, I think. I might switch out these ones for something like that. Now, getting on that Fender was actually fairly easy. It's just connecting the cable first, which it's keyed in, so you don't have to worry about plugging it in incorrectly and the light not working or breaking the light, burning it out. Just connecting it and then making sure to line it up with the 4 screws. And then once I got one screw in and the rest of them went in, it lined them up automatically, which was nice. Using that nice Bosch driver set for this came in handy. I did a review of that set. I believe it was last week or a week ago. It's about 150 bucks, but it's a great little set for doing things around the house or even for driving things with woodworking that I do, assembling things. I will admit that was a very satisfying peel. Turning on the scooter, you see the P that it's in. It comes on in park mode and in single motor mode. And I've noticed that when I turn it on and turn it off and turn it back on again, no matter if you're in dual motor speed 3, it'll automatically reset to single motor speed 1. So that's the only thing. There's no memory of the settings. And turning on the light, it does throw. It's an okay light. I mean, I've ridden it at night already, and I will be upgrading a light to like the PEV Firelight by Ginger on Wheels. Shout out to Ginger on Wheels, by the way. Awesome YouTuber for anything electrically powered gadgets. But the console is fairly intuitive. It starts in speed mode 1 of 3. And the brake levers, nice and reactive. Now, as was pointed out in Electric Scooter Guide's channel and in others, that the brake levers are actually switched. The ones on the right side are for the rear brakes, and the ones on the front come for are on the left side, which is interesting. I'm used to them being reversed, where the front brakes are on the right and the rear brakes are on the left. So, just something to keep in mind when I was riding. Now, as for the suspension, I don't know the specs on how preloaded they are or what the weight capacity or the strength of the springs are, but it definitely holds my weight. It didn't bottom out when I stood on it, so they're definitely strong coils. I can bounce on it. I can bottom it out, which, me being close to the weight limit is not really surprising, I guess. And you can see I've already gotten the deck plate dirty just from stepping on it. But another thing I love about it is the lights. I love those lights, the swag lights. You can't change the color, and that's the only thing. If there were an app for the scooter, you might have the option for that, or if there was a button on there, but it just comes in blue, which that's fine. It looks really cool at night, as you can see here. I did do a minimum range test, which I will show right now, so let's roll it.